There must be payback for wrongdoing. In keeping with the Christmas spirit of love and forgiveness, here is my attempt to tell the story of reconciliation. I must confess, it has not been easy for me. The reason I found it difficult is because I am a firm believer in consequences after actions, that there should be payback for wrongdoing. I think one of the reasons we are seeing an increase in statistics for both men and women regarding infidelity is because there are no legal consequences anymore. Heck, in most cases there are no financial or social ones. It's no longer the taboo it once was. It doesn't have the shame factor it once had. Call me old-fashioned if you want, but if someone I know admits to me that they have had or are having an affair, I exclude them from my circle of friends. Harsh? Maybe. But if he/she can lie, break promises, stab me in the back, and betray the trust of the one he/she is supposed to love the most, how much easier would it be for him/her to use or cheat on me, a mere friend? Okay, enough moralizing. To avoid confusion between Sam's letter and Lisa's inner thoughts, I used italics for the letter and regular font for Lisa's thoughts. Thank you and enjoy your reading. I smiled at my sister-in-law, Sarah, accepting the mimosa cocktail she held out to me. Thank you, sweetie. I took a sip, enjoying how unseemly it was to drink a mixture of champagne and orange juice at 10 in the morning. Hopefully none of the grandchildren would ask me to share. Hearing one of said grandchildren giggle to my left, I turned my head, my smile growing wider. Maddie, my granddaughter, who was 4, and Mia, who was 3, were taking turns spinning around in their new outfits. Maddie's was lilac with a wide satin ribbon around her waist. Her cousin Mia's was almost as pink. I admired the craftsmanship and attention to detail. Every sequin on the bodice was hand-sewn. Tony, my other sister-in-law, was of course very good with her hands, and it was so sweet of her to make them for Mia as well as her own daughter. She even went so far as to decorate their ballet shoes and make magic wands. No wonder the girls thought they were fairy tale princesses. As I watched, my 6-year-old grandson Christopher raced between his sister and cousin, clutching his Captain America shield. Following on his heels was my other grandson, Matthew, dressed in his Iron Man costume but waving Thor's hammer. I grinned. Apparently he had no problem being 2 superheroes at the same time. They darted around the room like whirlwinds. Even the trinkets on the Christmas tree tinkled with the flux they created, before heading out the back door that Matthew's father, my son Shane, held open for them. I shook my head fondly. Just yesterday it seemed like Sam, my husband, was doing the same for our boys. They too were teary-eyed, full of energy and mischief. I looked around my living room, feeling a deep sense of contentment. I loved Christmas when the whole family was together. My 2 sons with their wives and children, my daughter, pregnant with her first child this year, and her husband Tom. Sam and I had our doubts about Tom from the beginning. He was 10 years older than Melinda and quite reserved, but we were glad we were wrong. He adored Melinda and encouraged her to continue studying archaeology, even knowing how difficult it could be to combine a career with a family. And he made Melinda happy. Very happy. What more could we ask for? "Hey, Mom, Dad told me to give you this," said my oldest son, Richard. He handed me a card and a gift box. "Oh, I thought we opened all our presents," I replied. Richard smiled and shrugged his shoulders. What can I say? I'm just the messenger. I answered him with a smile, thinking of how his resemblance to his father grew with each passing year, and embraced them both. As good manners demanded, I opened the card first. First, open your gift, and then read the enclosed letter. I suggest you do this in private. I smiled, looking in all directions, looking for Sam to wink at me, to show him that I appreciated the mystery and, if what I suspected was true, the sexual nature of his gift. I couldn't find him. Instead of looking for him, I gave in to my curiosity and headed into the study to discover his mysterious gift in private. As the door closed behind me, the sounds of my family's celebration died down. I slumped down in the leather living room next to Sam's bookcase. It was so comfortable it was sinful, and I opened the gift box. I was wrong. It wasn't sexy. It was a case. In it was a pendant. At first I didn't know what to make of it. Instinct told me it was more than a random series of silver, gold, and rose gold curls, thinly studded with diamonds. A closer look revealed intertwined words. How ingenious. the greatest gift of all. I marveled at the artist's dexterity, the way they had hidden the words in a pendant no more than 2 inches in diameter. It was a statement piece, the kind you wear high, framed by the V-neck of a blouse, or low on a heavy chain over a sweater with a polo collar. I loved it. It was unusual and unique. Trust Sam to find something that unusual. As commanded, I took out sheets of thin writing paper from the card. I could see that they were overflowing with words. I smiled in anticipation of reading his love letter, mentally thanking the gods that this man still loved me so much after all these years. Dear Lisa, I believe you have deciphered the words hidden in the design. If not, think again. You must know them before you continue reading this letter. Have you figured it out yet? They say the greatest gift of all. And that's what I'm offering you. This Christmas is my gift to you. What, you ask, is the greatest gift of all? It is forgiveness. I offer you forgiveness. And a second chance. Contact your lover today. Write to him and tell him it's over. That you can't go through with it. That you've changed your mind. That you never want to see or hear from him again. The letter fluttered out of my fingers and onto my lap as I aghast. Where? Where had all the air in the room gone? I clutched my chest. My heart was pounding so hard. Was I having a heart attack? Unfortunately, part of me wanted it to be so. If I died, I wouldn't have to face Sam. I wouldn't have to see the judgment in his eyes. I wouldn't have to witness his pain or disappointment in me. I wouldn't have to look into my son's or daughter's eyes and see my vain weakness reflected back at me. Sam knew. Oh my God, my beloved Sam knew. My heart ached at the pain he must have felt. I had caused that pain. Reality was hitting me with the truth. I bit my lip to keep from screaming. How horrible the guilt. How soul-destroying the knowledge when you know it's your fault. You're responsible. You're the villain. I have nothing, no one to blame. Only myself. Only my weak, vain, selfish self. With trembling hands, I took the letter from my lap. I knew I wouldn't like the rest of Sam's message, but Sam deserved my attention. He deserved to be heard. I won't go into detail about why I suspected, what I did with those suspicions, and what I learned. Suffice it to say that I know his name is Peter Piper. I know enough to know that you plan to sleep with him in the new year, and more than enough to know that you've already laughed at our 35 years together. Before you read any further, stop and think. This is what you've brought me to. I have to write a letter to be heard. My eyes watered with shame. Sam, my dear, sweet Sam. Only I could read the true depth of pain in those few short words. To no one on this planet had he ever revealed his innermost self, his vulnerabilities. Only to me, unworthy of him. And I had betrayed that trust. I felt overwhelmed, my throat clenched, choked with guilt. What can I say, Lisa? At one point I had a beautiful and loving wife, a house that was too big but nice, and a wonderful family that I was proud of. Things were going great. The kids were great. The grandchildren were even better. And then I woke up one bright and sunny morning and discovered that it was all a mirage. My world had crumbled beneath me. I felt like I was in a nightmare that I couldn't wake up from. You know what I realized in the midst of it all? Emotions are not static. You can't compartmentalize them. Not really. Not forever. They are not solid like bricks or rocks. You can't have a stone of pain, a stone of devastation, and a stone of anger, stack them in the corner of some room and close the door behind them. They are more like water. They flow. They rise and fall. They come in waves, and the mind is not a vessel that can hold them like a bowl. They seep and seep and seep into new areas. It's as if my whole being was a home, and your betrayal turned on the faucet in my brain. This adulterous water filled my mind, polluting my every waking thought. But then it overflowed until it soaked my heart, my bowels, my limbs, every nook and cranny, every stairwell and room of my house. And it hasn't stopped, and it's starting to fester with each passing day. The foundation has been weakened. Soon there will be no foundation left to destroy. You were my foundation, Lisa. And now I find that you don't have my back. It's not you and me against the world, and you're not as loving and loyal after all. And without that faith, the rest of my life is like ashes in my mouth. Everything I've worked for over the last 35 years doesn't seem to matter anymore. All the compromises, all the sacrifices, every single one of them was meaningless. They had accomplished nothing. It had all been for nothing. Sam's words shook me to the core. What had I done? What had I caused? Sam is strong, determined, honorable Sam. Sam, my rock, a wonderful father and provider. Sam with his corny jokes and terrible cooking. Sam, who loved his family with all his fury. Sam, who now thought his life was worthless. And it was my fault. Remorse wasn't a big enough word to describe the depth of my suffering. I had behaved foolishly, stupid and vain, absorbing the young man's attention. And why was that? I wasn't unhappy. I wasn't bored. I wasn't dissatisfied with Sam or my life. Quite the opposite. I was ashamed to admit that I'd only done it because of the warm glow it gave my ego, for the high of feeling young and desirable again. What does that say about me? I could very well have destroyed the man I loved just for my vanity. Water dripped onto Sam's neatly scribbled page. I looked at him in surprise. I brought my hand to my face and found that my cheeks were wet. I hadn't realized I was crying. Maybe I shouldn't say this now. Maybe I should save it until the last few paragraphs, but I can't. I have to tell you. If you don't end your affair today, I'm not going to fight you over money or a house or any other material shit. None of that stuff matters. I'm not going to fight this man for your heart either. I'm not going to try to woo you or beg you. I'm not going to get romantic and try to sweep you off your feet again. I'm not going to point out all the pros of choosing your marriage over your romance. And I'm certainly not going to beg. I shouldn't have to do that. This is a fight I should have considered won the day you accepted my marriage proposal. And anyway, how can I compete? He's younger. He's a newcomer, a mystery for you to solve, a new and sweet flavor for you to try. How can I, old and boring, known for everything, old and boring vanilla, hope to compete? Compete? Oh, Sam, you don't need to compete. I'm yours. I've always been yours. I'm just a little lost. Oh, darling, please forgive me. I was a silly old woman. Seeing my actions through Sam's eyes, I realized the true nature of my actions. They weren't pretty. When? When did I become so susceptible to flattery, so needy? When had I lost my focus, my moral center? The questions plagued my mind. I pushed them to the back of my mind. I would have to answer them eventually, but in that moment it was more important to read Sam's letter and really listen to what he had to say. With what you've done, you've dealt such a blow to my heart that I'm not sure it will ever fully recover. I had no idea this kind of pain existed, and it doesn't stop. It goes on and on with no end in sight. Night after night for the past month, I have watched you sleep, silently yelling at you, asking why didn't you tell me you weren't happy? Why did you never give me a chance to fulfill this need, this hole you turned to him to fill? Why wasn't my love and devotion enough? Do you have any idea what it was like to have dinner with you, watching TV, reading the newspaper, and wondering what I did to deserve a wife who was constantly distracted, always brooding and lost in her own thoughts? Even when you were with me, you weren't with me. It was like some fancy concert or neighborhood party, and if it wasn't for me, you would have been there. I was gasping, panting, pain, so much pain. I caused so much pain. Oh, Sam, you were always enough. Even as I thought about those words, I wondered if they were false. If Sam was enough, why was I seeking attention elsewhere? No, that was wrong. Sam was enough. The lack was in me. I was the one who feared aging and not being wanted anymore. The bottomless abyss of need was in me. I can't adequately describe, I'm just not good with words, the empty loneliness I felt every time I hugged you for the past 4 weeks, knowing you were seeking his attention, his praise, his caresses, his touch, his kisses. Every I love you, you uttered, didn't bring a warm glow to my heart like it should have, like it used to. Instead, it was like another stab wound. Your words, your affection, all poisoned by your secrets and lies. I think it's true what the experts say. You can never truly know what is in another person's heart. I thought I knew yours. I thought I knew you. But I was wrong. I don't seem to know you at all, because the Lisa I knew and loved was incapable of deceit and betrayal. Oh, I know you haven't slept with him yet. But I also know that you've done things that no loving and faithful wife would do. And worst of all, I know that you were planning to take that final step in the near future. Knowing that his words were true drove me out of my mind. I felt Sam's pain as if it were my own. With each phrase, I felt another stab wound. I didn't try to avoid them. I deserved every one of them. The tears kept pouring. I didn't try to stop them. Just a week ago, you came home from a party with friends. Yes, I know it was another one of your lies and that you were with him. It was late. I pretended to be asleep. You gave me a little shake and patted my shoulder. I think you were trying to wake me up so we could make love. That sent me into a frenzy. I thought I was going to explode. That you came to me looking for my hug after spending the evening with him. I wanted to roll over and strangle you. Instead, I kept pretending to be asleep. After a couple minutes, you gave in and snuggled up against my back, even hugging me. But that wasn't the worst of it. You sighed. After 35 years, I know the nuances of your sighs, and this one was satisfying. It reminded me of that cat we had when the kids were little, Sebastian. He used to sigh like that, too, as soon as he stretched and scratched my chair to shreds. You were just like that damn cat. You'd scratch my broken and bleeding heart and then sigh happily about it. I shuddered, remembering in great detail that night. I'd come home feeling so sexy. How awful to know that Sam knew. God, how used he must have felt. Now I found it disgusting to whet my sexual appetite by flirting and devouring compliments during dinner with Peter, expecting him to satiate himself at home with Sam. It was like taking advantage of Sam. Cat. Sam was right. I was acting like a cat. A street cat. I carefully placed the letter in my lap and covered my face with my palms. I wanted to hide. I didn't like the person I saw in Sam's letter. This woman was not a good person. She was frivolous and carelessly cruel. She was vain and selfish. What had happened to me? How did I stray so far from who I used to be? A woman who raised 3 children to be honest and decent? Where had my honesty been for the last month or so? I lifted my face, forcing myself to take a few deep breaths like I did when I was jogging, and I was in pain and needed a little more oxygen to deal with the pain. It took a few repetitions to prepare myself for the rest of Sam's letter. I've loved you for so long, practically my entire adult life. Feelings like that don't just end. You can't just turn them off like you turn off a light. But at the same time, I have new feelings for you, and they're not nice. They're angry and resentful. They are frustrated and vindictive. They're even hateful. Right now, as much as I love you, I equally despise you. My heart, my gut, seems like they are a blender with all the old and new feelings swirling together. What will come out the other end? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Part of me hopes you choose your lover because the road to any semblance of happiness is going to be a difficult, rock-strewn road, and I resent having to work to improve a situation I had no hand in destroying. This past month has been the worst of my life. I'll admit, when I confirmed my concerns, I didn't know what to do. I felt paralyzed, unable to act. I never thought I would find myself in this situation. I had no rough plan to bring him into the game. My knee-jerk reaction was to kick you out. But then I thought about the kids and grandkids. People, I might add, also affected by your betrayal. Even if they don't know it yet, what we do affects them. Like a pebble thrown into a pond, ripples run through it. Nothing we do, no decision we make is in isolation. There are always consequences. I don't think I would have written you this letter if it weren't for them. But enough is enough. I'm offering you this one chance. It's either him or me. I have to be honest. Even if you end it tonight, I can't guarantee we'll survive. But if our marriage, if you and I have any chance at all, is important to you, you have to keep it. Then you have to choose me, choose us, and you have to do it today. I shuddered in relief. Sam had given me a choice. It pained me to know that he felt a choice had to be made. Despite my current stupidity, to me, it was Sam. Always had been Sam. Always would be Sam. I ached with pain and anger oozing through every word and vowed to do my best to heal the wounds my actions had caused. Gratitude that he loved me and our family enough to try, that he meant what he said in his first words, filled my heart. He was going to try to forgive me. He was going to give me a second chance. I may not have deserved the chance he was giving me, but I wanted it no matter what. I wanted it with every fiber of my being. I dropped the letter and reached into my pocket for my phone. Without a second's hesitation, I composed a message to Peter. "It's over. It was a mistake. I don't want to see you anymore. Don't call, don't write, forget my number." All I felt when I hit the send icon was relief. If you make the choice in favor of me and our marriage, all you have to do to let me know is wear the pendant. Later, when the kids and grandkids are gone, you can show me the text to him so I can check it out. And yes, Lisa, I will need to check. You have shown by your words and actions over the past month that your word alone is not enough proof. In making your decision, keep in mind that I'm not offering you a free pass. Forgiveness comes at a cost, and to be completely honest, my gift is as much for me as it is for you and our family. My offering you forgiveness does not diminish what you have done. Unforgiveness is like a tumor. It eats the holder from the inside out. I refuse to be its next victim. In that respect, my gift is not only to you, but to me. Second chances are not given without cost or effort. You are the one who sowed the destruction, so the bulk of the work of rebuilding our relationship will be up to you. I will no doubt have many hard questions you will have to answer, obstacles you will have to overcome, and challenges you will have to face. I can't promise that I won't yell or lose my temper. You've lost my trust. It won't be easy to get it back. The same goes for respect. All you have is the remnants of the roaring fire in my heart. It will be up to you to fan the embers back into a flame. If you choose your lover, leave the pendant in its case and leave it on the mantelpiece. This choice will mean you will move out of the house and begin divorce proceedings in the new year. The decision is yours: divorce or the greatest gift, forgiveness and a second chance. Sam. I folded the letter and put it back in the envelope. I will always keep it to remind me of what I did and what I almost foolishly threw away. Taking the gift case, I opened the lid, looking long and hard at the pendant. When I first opened the case, it had seemed beautiful. Now, knowing its true meaning, it was even more precious to me. With trembling fingers, I took it and undid the clasp. Casting one last glance at the inscription encapsulated in its design, I slipped it around my neck. As I touched it, making sure it rested in the center of the neckline of my blouse, I promised myself I would wear it every day. For Sam, so he would know I loved him and appreciated his generosity. And for me, to remember the Christmas when my loving husband gave me the greatest gift of all. The end.